These may lead the enforcement authorities to impose some fines after inspections. Is it clear?
Yeah.
So this is another cost. Another cost also, right?
NCR.
It may lead to some
They
accidents.
can give them NCR.
NCRs, non-conformity or non-conformance reports, right? Which may stop their things, their productions, right? It may also lead to these kind of costs, and it may lead to some accidents also, which may have some costs, right? Definitely, it will have the cost, right? If they are not following the proper health and safety standards, it may lead to some accidents, and they are the indirect costs. We can take this cost from the accidents, but not all. We cannot take the investigation cost here, right? From those, we need to remove certain reasonable points, and then we can include here.
Direct and indirect cost we can put here.
Yes, we can put here.
And insured and uninsured.
Insured, uninsured, yes, all those things.
All the combination of this.
Yes.
All the possible costs.
All the possible costs, but you need to check in that. Like in accident investigation is not applicable here.
Yeah.
So similarly, we need to filter from those, and then we need to add it. Okay. Any other thing? Any other thing?
Okay.
Identify indicators. Indicators that an organization's health and safety culture may be poor or ineffective. So here, as I told you, no proper risk assessments are done. This is a major thing. So risk assessment, we will see in the coming policies, in this element about risk assessment.
Sir, can you please provide me the definition of risk assessment?
A risk assessment, this we will see in this element. Okay, any other question?
No, okay.
Right. So let me start first. Assalamu alaikum. I welcome all of you. We have a new addition, right? I welcome your name, please. Rajab Ali. You are from?
Pakistan.
Which company?
Star.
Working as a
Security.
secretary. I welcome you. Welcome you. One class has been finished, right? This is the second one. We need to make up many things were there in the first class. Orientation was also there, right? Like how the exam will be, how the questions will be. Still, we will continue. Right.
Yes, sir.
Today we will start the second element. Okay. And before entering, you have one more question, which is called as risk assessment. Right? Risk assessment. To know risk assessment, we need to know what is risk. Correct? To know risk assessment, we need to know first what is risk. To know risk, we need to know certain terms like what is hazard, which we have seen in the first element. I can repeat, no problem. Right? What is hazard? We need to know. What is hazardous event? We should know. What is likelihood? We should know. What is consequence? We should know. This part comes, we should know in order to go to risk assessment. Starting from hazard to risk assessment. What is hazard?
Anything
Anything which has the potential to create harm, cause harm. It is the hazard. First. Next, hazardous event. It is the event in which you may have injury or property damage or both. Correct? Or environmental damage. Either. So this is called as hazardous event. Next, what is likelihood? Likelihood is nothing but it is a chance. Chance of happening of the hazardous event. It is a chance, likelihood. Consequence, the outcome, the result. The result, the outcome of any hazardous event is consequence. Now we have these terms, and what is risk? I think we have seen in the previous class, again I will try to repeat it. Risk is the combination of
Likelihood and severity.
likelihood and severity. Exactly, perfect. Likelihood and severity or likelihood and consequence. You can either call it as severity or consequence.
We can say it's hazard plus exposure to hazard.
Hazard plus exposure to hazard.
To that, yeah.
We can We can say, but yeah, we can say that is also okay.
Combination of sir, consequences and
Likelihood of the hazardous event, right? So in order to do the risk assessment, we need to know identify the hazard first. We need to identify the hazards first of all. If you do risk assessment, all these things will be included. You need to know all these things. What is hazard? What are the hazards in your site, in your place? Right? What are the chances of happening that hazardous event? What will be the severity or the consequence of the hazardous event? We need to know this in order to go for the risk assessment. Generally, right, risk assessment you might have seen this type of
Matrix.
matrix.
Yeah.
So, no, some people might be new, right? So it is called as a risk matrix, 3 by 3 matrix, 5 by 5 matrix, 10 by 10 matrix. This is, if we go into this in detail, so some time will be consumed here. This is nothing but risk assessment, right? This is a 3 by 3 matrix, right? Here you will have likelihood, and here you will have consequence. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, right? If you feel that the chances of having that particular hazardous event is very less, you will mark it here. Okay. If you feel that the chances of happening of that particular event is very high, then you need to mark here. And what will be the consequence? What will be the severity? If it is a death, it will come here, right? If it is less than that severe injury, it will come here, right? If it is minor injury, it will come here. So what will be the value of the risk? 3. If it is death and possibilities are very high, then 3 multiplied by 3, you will get the value as 9. So what are the values in between? Here it is 1, 2, 3, 2, 3. 2 multiplied by 2, 4. 2 multiplied by 3, 6. 3 multiplied by 2, 6. So these are the values of the risk levels. We need to identify. We need to mention the risk levels. This is called as the risk level. This is called as the risk level. So in this way we need to calculate the risk level. Anyhow, I will tell you in detail just to clarify your doubts. What is risk assessment? This is one small risk assessment which is based on 3 by 3 matrix. Similarly, we will have 5 by 5 matrix. Okay. Starting from 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right? Again, you need to multiply and put the values here in between. So that will be your risk level. Generally, people use this 5 by 5 matrix.
sir, how we write that exactly the what you said?
Risk assessment, likelihood.
But that is okay. Introduction. In one line, we need to explain this risk assessment. So how do we write?
It is a combination of likelihood and consequence of the hazardous event. In short, it is risk. This is the definition for risk. Risk assessment is evaluation of that risk. Estimation and evaluation of the risk.
Estimation and evaluation. Yes.
Is called as risk assessment. It is a care. In one line, I can say it is a careful examination of your workplace for the hazards and risks. Okay? For the hazards associated, right, in your workplace. Estimation and evaluation of the risk. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So this is about risk and risk assessment. Okay. Today we will see the second element and the third element. Okay. Second element about the policy and the third element about the organization. Right. Before that, we will see what are these elements in HSMS. What is this HSMS? Health and safety management system. Okay. Right. So these are the learning outcomes of the second element. What are the learning outcomes? Demonstrate undertaking of the content through the application of knowledge to familiar and unfamiliar situations. In particular, they should be able to outline the key elements of health and safety management system, HSMS. Key elements of HSMS, you will be able to know what are the key elements of HSMS, health and safety management system. You will be able to explain purpose and importance of setting policy for health and safety. You would have seen policies, right?
Yes.
Policy which will be hanged on the walls, right? So one document. Generally it will be a one document policy, right? It will be hanged and signed by someone. Senior, yeah, exactly. The owner, the MD or the CEO, right? They might have signed it. It is called as policy. Right? We will see that. Describe, you will be able to describe the key features and appropriate content of an effective health and safety policy. What are the key features that we will see? Okay, what are the things which are to be present in that? How it should look like? So those things we will see. Okay, right. HSMS policy. HSMS, Health and Safety Management System policy. Right. Key elements of health and safety management system. Right. So there are certain standards here, international standards. Right. The British Standard Institute's BSI. Occupational Health and Safety Assessment Series, OHS, you can say OHSAS.
This one comes
OSAS.
example of this one.
No, this is, you should know, this is basic knowledge, general knowledge we should know.
But this is not come as example.
No,
This
this is for your general knowledge. Yes. Right. OSAS, you might have heard it. OSAS 18001. Right? It is UK based certification. Right? It is 18001 developed in 1999. In response to the customer demand, we recognized OHSMS can be assessed and certified, developed to be compatible with quality and environmental.
Why 14,000?
Yes, this is the standard. This is like ISO 9001, 9008, right? It is also one of the standard of ISO. You can say this ISO 9001. This is for quality. This ISO 9001 is for quality, right? ISO 14001 is for environment related certification, okay? And OSAS, OSAS 18001 is related to health and safety. Is it clear? So these are different certifications. These three combinedly are called as IMS. Integrated Management System. These three combined. If you combine all these three, you will have the certification of Integrated Management System, IMS. Nowadays, mostly people are going for IMS, Integrated Management System, which includes these three things: OSAS, 9001 and 14001. Okay? Any company have to go for this type of certifications. Here, you can see this, there is 18,001, 9,001, 14,001. These are the certifications which will evaluate your quality, your environment and your health and safety. They will evaluate.
These are the companies coming for the auditing. Right?
These are not companies actually, these are the standards, certifications. Certifications. You can call it as certifications. There are 18,002 is also there. That is guidance. I can't say I am 18,002 certified. I cannot say. Why? Because that is only guidelines. 18,002 are guidelines. I cannot say I am certified, my company is certified by 18,002. No, this is wrong. I can say my company is certified ISO 9001 certified. My company is ISO OSAS 18001 certified. My company is ISO 14001 certified. I can say that, but I can't say my company is certified with OSAS 18002. Why 18002 is guidelines. They are the guidelines which we need to follow those guidelines. Just for our reference sake. For our reference sake,
Yeah,
we will have 18002.
I see this thing
Yes.
on the company letter. I so that for the
You have seen this,
Yeah.
right? So it will be there.
These three standard will be
IMS.
IMS.
These three combinedly are called as IMS, Integrated Management System.
Integrated
Management System.
Management.
Yeah.
I have company. Part with the I have certified accounting.
Generally, people go for auditing, they check for these three things.
Yeah.
Auditor will go and check. There are some similarities between these standards. Some points are similar, some will vary. So for that, it is very easy for the company as well as the auditor to manage this and to check also. It is very easy. So why they are going for IMS? Because it will be easy for them to maintain the documents with respect to these three. They are combining. Why? Because some are similar, so no issues. The work will be reduced, and even for the auditor, it will be finished in 1 day or half day or whatever it is. If not, the auditor has to come for 3 days for 3 different certifications. The auditor has to come for 18,001, he has to come for 9,001 on some other day, and he has to come for 14,001 on some other day. If they have gone for IMS, the auditor can do it in 1 day. Why? Because they also can save the money. The company also can save the money
Okay, sir, go ahead.
in 1 day, right? Why? Because auditor has to be paid, right? For so many number of days, the auditor has to be paid. So if the company go for IMS, the auditor has to be paid only for 1 day, right? Okay, right. These are the key elements with respect to ILO, International Labour Organization. According to International Labour Organization, these are the key elements. What are they? Policy, organizing, planning and implementing, evaluation, action for improvement. Audit will be there. Always. It will be there. Without audit, how can you measure? Key elements of HSMS. You can see here, elements of health and safety management system or model with respect to ILO OSH 2001, International Labour Organization Occupational Safety and Health 2001.
In examination, can I
Draw. No need to draw this. You need to write whatever you are saying here. Policy, organizing, planning and implementing, evaluation, action for improvement. Right? So these things with respect to ILO OSH.
elements of health and safety model?
Yes. So this is the order we need to follow. What is the first step? Policy. Next, organizing. Next, planning and implementing. Next, evaluation. Next, action for improvement. You cannot write action for improvement on the top. It should be coming from top to bottom. It should be in sequence. It will be in sequence. Without policy, what you are going to do?
Nothing.
You should set the policy first. It is called as policy setting. Once the policy is set, then they have to organize the responsibilities, provide with respect to the skills and competencies, assign the responsibilities, organize so that the policy can be delivered properly. It is called as organizing. Planning and implementing, you need to plan how that can be executed, how the policy can be executed. You are telling that in the policy, for example, I will ensure the safety of all employees of the company. If you say like this in the policy, how you are going to deliver the safety to the employees. That we need to implement. You need to show in action what you are going to do. Right? Next, evaluation. How do you evaluate whether you are on the right track or not? Right? There should be something, there should be some parameters, there should be some standards. You have to measure, right? Next, action for improvement. If you find any deficiencies after evaluating, if you find any shortcomings after evaluation, you need to go for the proactive, you need to go for the, you need to take proper steps for the improvement to reduce the gap between the, to remove the deficiencies or the shortcomings, I can say, the drawbacks. Is it clear? So we'll see one by one.
Yeah.
We'll see one by one. These are the key elements of HSMS.
We need to write an examination as a schedule, like.
In the sequence.
Yeah, in the sequence.
In the sequence. It's better. You need to write in the sequence. Okay? Right. Audit will be there. As I told you, audit for three things. Health and safety, OSAS 18001, 9001 quality. Right? Next one, environmental 14001. ISO 14001, that is for environment. All these things will be, this complete system will be audited. Okay, we'll go ahead. So this is with respect to ILO OSH 2001. There is another slight modification with respect to HSG 65, right? HSG 65, Successful Health and Safety Management Model, right? Here, everything is same, only two things are differing here. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Everything is same.
First one?
Here, monitoring. Earlier it was evaluation, now it is monitoring. Earlier it was action for improvement, now it is reviewing performance. Everything is similar, only the slide wordings are slightly changed with respect to health, HSG. What is HSG? Health and Safety Guidance. It is called as Health and Safety Guidance.
So sir, when the auditor came, he will check under which conditions? HSG or what is it?
HSG, either way, no problem. Both are similar, yes.
Yeah, both are similar, but we can write the other one.
Yes, you can write this, but don't get confused, huh? Don't get confused. You can write either this or that, no problem.
Both are equal, huh?
Yes.
Right and one.
Any.
Monitoring.
Don't write policy, organizing, planning and implementing, monitoring, evaluation. Don't mix. Either write this one or that one. Don't mix these two. These three are similar. Okay, these three are similar in both the cases. Only these two will vary. Only the wordings are different. Otherwise, everything is same.
Yes, monitoring. Okay, sir.
But if he see a specific question, he tell us HS.
Generally, they are not asking specifically. If they ask, you need to write this. If they ask specifically HSG 65 elements, you need to go for this one. Till now they have not asked such specific questions. Right. Right. Now setting the policy. You need to set the policy. Before doing anything, you need to set the policy. Right. The safety policy sets out the general approach and commitment of an organization to achieve particular safety objectives. Like it should contain company aims and objectives, and it should show company commitment. What is the first thing? It should contain company aims and objectives. What is the aim and objective of the company? That will be there in the policy. What is the aim of that particular company? It has to deliver the services or product. Some companies may have product, some companies may have service, right? To deliver the product and service safely, in time and with quality. I'm just giving you one example. Right? I will show you the examples of the policies also. Okay? Right. Shows a company commitment. company commitment, what exactly the company will do, right, to take that particular steps. What exactly the company do in order to go for the health and safety policy fulfillment. It has to fulfill whatever it is providing in policy. It has to fulfill. It has to deliver. Correct? If it is not delivering, it is of no use. Just it is wall mount. Policy will be wall mounted, and nothing is happening in real time. It is of no use. What is the commitment? How the management will do this? How the management will deliver the quality product? How the management will deliver the quality service? Right? So, for example, Aspire is there. What is the service? How it is providing the service to the customers? Is it clear? So, this is the service. Product, like for example, any product company is there. Any television, laptop, speaker, projector, whatever, anything is there. If you buy, whether it is a quality one, so it is delivering the product, quality product. How they are doing it? They need to mention in policy. See, this the IGC 1 will be little bit theoretical, right? I am just telling you now. It will be little bit theoretical. If you go for IGC 2, it will be practical oriented. Practical in the sense like transportation, right? What are the hazards associated with the forklift, manual handling? So, what are the psychological problems, stress because of the work, because of the management? So, these kind of real-time scenarios will be there in IGC 2.
But we are learning in management system in IGC.
That's it. We are into management system.
Yeah.
This is what your IGC 1 is.
Management.
Your key elements will be there in IGC 1, like policy, organizing, planning, implementing, all this. Little bit theoretical. You may feel that it's a little bit dry, but for the sake of the exam, you need to go ahead with this. We need to try to learn this. We need to try to involve in this. Okay, theoretical. No much videos are also here, right? In IGC 2, we have much videos. Is it clear? Right. Okay. Now, setting the policy still continued. Like organizations that are successful in achieving high standards of health and safety should have health and safety policies which contribute to their business performance. It should have the policies. Without policy, you cannot deliver the product or the service properly. Right. Meeting the responsibilities to people and the environment in a way which fulfills both the spirit and the letter of the law. People and environment. People, it has to take care of the people as well as the environment. In short, correct? People, employees, all employees, visitors, the society, the public, it has to take care. Right? Environment, it should not spoil the environment also. It should be taking care. It should take care of the environment also. It is not that I am doing my business, I am producing something, I am manufacturing some plastic and the environment is getting spoiled. Again, it's a problem. Why? Because that will be a problem for the whole, for all the people. Is it clear? So it should take care so that it fulfills the spirit of the people as well as the letter of the law. Spirit, it should not spoil the spirit of the people, the morale of the people. Right? And letter of the law, it should abide by the law. It should follow the legal aspects. Right? Next, satisfies the expectations of shareholders, workers, customers and society at large. Shareholders, workers, customers, shareholders, partners of the company if there are any. Right? Next, workers, the employees, people who are working in that company. Customers who are at the receiving end of that particular product or service. Okay? And finally, society. Last but not the least, society. We should take care of the society also. Like for example, I have a big production company where I am releasing my waste into the ocean of the sea or into the rivers. there will be waste products, correct? There will be waste products in the companies, in production manufacturing companies. So if I release that waste in the water, what will happen? I am spoiling the environment, and indirectly society is also being affected. Who should take care of that also? Right? Cost effective and aimed at achieving the preservation and development of physical and human resources and reductions in financial losses and liabilities. In short, it should be economical and it should follow the legalities. Economical, it should not have like if there are 5 investors and they are planning to invest something and you are involving also with respect to health and safety, but your expenditure is very high than the production. It is of, they will not, the investor will step back. It should be economical also, right? And legalities, liabilities, the responsibilities should be properly followed. The legal aspects should be followed properly. Next, the health and safety policies influence all activities and decisions, including those to do with the selection of the resources and information. What is the selection of resources and information? Selection of the resources like manpower, selection of the manpower, proper manpower, hiring, recruiting proper people, information, right? Proper information like national standards, local standards, international standards, those informations are to be gathered properly, right? The design and operation of working systems. The design and operation of working systems like following the safe system of works. Safe system of works. What is the safe system of works? Allow the people to work safely, not in an unsafe manner, right? So it is called as operation of working systems, delivery of products and services and control of waste disposal. Just now I discussed with these 2 things. Products and services and waste disposals. Waste disposals, as I told you, I cannot dispose the waste as my wish, right? There are certain rules and regulations for that also. Like for example, as I described you earlier also, like some medical waste, if I throw it in the general waste, what will happen? So many contagious diseases will spread, right? So reasonably, responsibly disposing responsibly, right? So structure, next organizing, this was setting policy. Next one is organizing. An organization that achieves high health and safety standards are structured and operated so as to put their health and safety policies into effective practice. What does it mean? Structured and operated so as to, right, put their health and safety policies in practice. Structured like hierarchy should be followed. There should be a proper hierarchy. What is this hierarchy? Following the protocol, right, from top to bottom. Like for example, worker cannot, an employee cannot meet directly to the CEO. He will, whatever he has issues, he will go for his immediate supervisor, his immediate higher authority. That person will go for next higher authority. This is called as the hierarchy from top to bottom.
Chain of command.
Chain of
Command. Chain of command.
Command.
command. Chain of command. Yeah, the different terminologies are there. You can call like that also. Chain of command, hierarchy, protocol.
Organizing.
Right? So this has to be properly defined. This flow chart has to be defined properly. Okay? Creating a positive culture that secures involvement and participation at all levels. Positive culture should be created. Positive culture, positive health and safety culture is to be created. Tune the minds of the employees so that the environment will be in the positive health and safety culture. Right? And that secures involvement and participation at all levels. What does it mean? Involve the people who are working. Right? Involve, participate. Right? Speak, communicate with the people. Okay? Next, effectively communicate and promote the competency of all workers to make a responsible and informed contribution to health and safety effort. Right? Communicate properly. You need to communicate properly. For example, I know only English and the employees, the workers know only the local language. How can I communicate with them? So I should have to take proper measures. Right? So we need to communicate well with the workers and employees. visible and active leadership of the senior managers to develop and maintain a supportive health and safety culture. Like for example, visible and active leadership of the senior managers. For example, HSC manager is there in our company. Let us consider HSC manager is there. Every day he is absent. Then what will happen? Certain decisions will be stopped. Actions will not be taken fast. Correct? So the leadership, proper responsibility of the leaders should be played. Right? Next, the aim is not simply to avoid accident, but to motivate and empower people to work safely. The leader's vision, values and beliefs is to become the common knowledge of all. Right? So this health and safety has to be implemented not only for avoiding the accident, but also to improve the morale of the employees. Right? Not just because of accident, many other aspects are also there. Next is planning and implementing. First one is setting policy. Second one is organizing. Third one is planning and implementing. The successful organization, right, adopts planned and systematic approach to policy implementation. Planned approach should be there. For example, policy has been defined very good. How will you approach that policy? How will you deliver that particular policy? That the approach. How will you do it? So that is very important. Next, aim is to minimize the risks created by work activities, products and services. What should be the aim? It is simple, right? We need to reduce the risks created by the work activities, the equipment, the environment, right? We need to reduce the risk because of all these things: the activity, the people, the environment, all those things. Use risk assessments. This is just now whatever I have shown you, right? Risk assessment. Use risk assessment methods to decide priorities and set objectives for hazard elimination and risk reduction. Risk assessment. This is very, very important point. In any company, any health and safety department, you need to do the risk assessments. What are the advantages of risk assessment? Risk assessments. You analyze, you assess the risks what are there in the workplace.
You prevent the accident.
Prevent the accidents.
Prevent the accidents. Very good. Prevent the accidents. To save the people, to save the environment, to save the company property. You will get the alarms, you will get the warning signs from the risk assessments. If some risk assessment, in some risk assessment, if the risk level is very high, you need to immediately stop the activity, you need to work out on that. If it is moderate, you need to go for time scale. By today evening, you need to fix this, or by tomorrow, you need to fix this. These kind of actions, these kind of preventive measures you need to follow. If it is very, very low, the risk, always remember, the risk will never be zero.
There is risk.
The risk will never be zero at all in any place, anywhere in the world. Risk will be never zero. In spite of working hard, in spite of putting your effort 100%, still risk cannot be zero. Risk will be starting from 1. Okay? Right. So risk assessment methods, proper risk assessment again. Proper risk assessment should be done. Risk assessment, okay, I agree, but proper risk assessment is very important. I am just doing as my wish without any care, taking care, it's of no use. I don't want to go to sites and I want to just imagine the site and then I am doing the risk assessment just for the sake of the filing purpose. It's of no use. No use at all. Why? Because the manager will ask me where is the risk assessment. For that reason I am doing the risk assessment and filing. This is wrong. It will be of no use. The risk hazards will remain as it is. The risk level cannot be reduced if you don't do the proper risk assessments. Next, performance standards are established and performance is measured against them. Performance standards are established. Company standards also should be established, right? We need to follow them also with respect to the national and international standards. Next, specific actions needed to promote positive health and safety to eliminate and control risks are identified. So first you need to, there is a hierarchy again. First you need to try to eliminate the hazard. You need to try to eliminate the hazard first. If it is possible, try to eliminate the hazard itself. After risk assessment, try to eliminate the hazard. Okay, as eliminating hazard is not possible, then try to reduce the hazard. If it is not possible to eliminate completely the hazard, try to reduce the hazard as much as possible. Okay, next, the third step is prevent contact with the hazard.
Isolate.
Barricade.
Isolate.
Isolate, exactly, isolate. any word you can say. Isolate, prevent contact, barricade. This is the third one. Next, safe system of work. And finally, you need to go for PP, personal protective equipment. Is it clear? Right. This is the hierarchy we need to follow with respect to hazards. Right. Where possible, that's what it's here. Risks are eliminated first. Risks are eliminated by the careful selection and design of facilities, equipment and work processes, or minimized by the use of physical control measures. So, if possible, you do all these things. If these things are not possible, then what you need to do? You need to go for this. Provision of safe system of work, SSOW, right, and providing PPE. Okay? Right. Evaluation. Procedures to monitor, measure and record excess performance on a regular basis should be developed, established and periodically reviewed. It also should be reviewed. It is not that just you have developed the things and you have left, you have filed, kept in the racks. No. It has to be reviewed regularly. Allocation of responsibility, accountability and authority for monitoring at different levels in the management structure. Here there are two things here, responsibility and accountability. What is the difference between these two? Responsibility and accountability. Both are same, no?
Accountability to notice something.
To notice something.
Account something that is account and responsibility which is under my responsibility.
Okay. I'll give you an example. If there is a football match going on, like some team, XYZ team has lost, so the people will interview whom?
Captain.
The captain. The captain of the team. Why only captain? Why all others? Accountable and responsible as well. He is responsible as well as accountable.
Answerable.
Answerable, exactly. Accountable is answerable. Responsibility can be assigned to some others, but accountability cannot be assigned to others. That is the difference. Responsibility, like in a football team, right? The responsibility of goalkeeping can be given to some other person. Center forward can be given to some other person. Forward can be given to some other person. So, captain will be there, right? But responsibility can be assigned to some others. Captain cannot be present in all the places at the same time. He cannot be goalkeeper as well as center forward or all the players. No. The captain can assign the responsibility, whereas accountability still remains with the captain. Answerable is accountable. Similarly, the manager. Manager can assign the responsibilities, but still the accountability remains with the manager. If something goes wrong, manager has to answer. Okay, so this is the difference between responsibility and accountability. Authority, which has got some power, right here, and authority for monitoring at different levels in the management structure. At different levels, from bottom level to top level, all should be equally involved. Selection of performance indicators according to the size and nature of the activity. Performance indicators like whether it is meeting the national standards or international standards, whether the performance is reaching the national and international standards or not. So it has to be measured by keeping some indicators with respect to size and nature of activity. Size, how many number of people are working in the company? Nature of the activity, what activity is going on in the company? Whether it is a construction or extraction or manufacturing or production, what exactly? Right? Performance monitoring and measuring should be used to determine the extent to which the policy and objectives have been met and risks controlled. Right? Again, it has to be met, the policies and objectives, whatever you have framed in the first. So it has to be met finally. That should be your goal. Right? And risks, in the meanwhile, risks are to be controlled. Okay? Right. Auditing. Coming to auditing, which is there on the left side of the flow chart. Auditing is there, right? So, importance of auditing, a formal process specifically designed to determine the extent to which the HSMS or its element comply with the standards. Whether they are following the standards or not. Whether whatever you have designed, you have set the policy, you have implemented, you have organized, you have implemented, you have planned, you have implemented, all these things are being followed properly with respect to the standards or not. So the auditing will tell you, the outcome of the auditing will tell you. It is called as auditing. It is a careful examination. In short, I can say it is a careful examination. Right? Of equipment, of activity, of people, of the environment. It's called as auditing. Right? Internal audit will comply internal standards. Right? A program and audit policy should be developed, which includes proper auditor, auditor competency. The person who is doing auditing, he should be capable, he should have the skills, he should be trained, he should be certified, he should have the knowledge. Right? You should have the experience. Audit scope, what will be the future of the audit? After doing audit, what will be the future? Next, frequency of audits. Within a yearly you are doing, or 6 months once, or 2 years once, what is the frequency of the audits you are doing? Right? Next, audit methodology, what methodology you are following in auditing. You are speaking with the people, or you are referring the documents, sometimes both. Right? What methodology? Next, reporting. Finally, once the audit report is finished, it has to be reported. It has to be submitted in the meeting. Why? Because there may be some NCRs, right? Correct? Non-conformance reports will be there. So those are to be closed immediately as soon as possible. If not, again, it will lead to some problems. Right? Like for enforcement authorities. There are two things here, internal audit and external audit. Internal audit for the internal standards, right? So, this is about audit. Right. If there are any issues in the outcome of the audit, then they have to be corrected and they have to be prevented further. Corrective action to deal with the issue where it happened and tends to deal with the immediate causes of the issue, right? Preventive action to deal with the underlying root causes of the issue. This type of action will reduce the likelihood of it reoccurring where it happened before and in other places also. See, in short, I will give you one example for this corrective action and preventive action. You will easily understand. Like for example, there are 20 villas, let us consider 20 villas are there constructed in the same design, signature villas. Let us consider same model, same pattern. Okay, right. In one villa, let us consider there are 20 villas of same design, same model, which are there constructed side by side by only one company. Let us consider only one company has constructed it, right? And people are living in that. After construction, people started living in that. If a small kid who is crawling, if the kid falls from the first floor of the balcony because there was no protection. Let us consider there is no protection and a small crawling baby falls from the height. What is the corrective action there? Immediate corrective action.
To correct the defect outside for first.
Yes, that is there. But immediate, what is the immediate corrective action? That is preventive action. Perfect. What is the corrective
What
action?
is that, sir, preventive?
I will tell you. In preventive action, corrective action is sending the baby to the hospital.
Yeah, it should be the.
Corrective.
Corrective. Well-being of the baby. Well-being of the baby is a corrective action. Immediately, whatever you do is corrective action. Preventive action, as well said, barricade or fencing for the balcony for all the villas.
Oh, this is preventive.
It is preventive action. Clear with this example? Corrective action and preventive action. Corrective. Immediately, you need to go for the well-being of that particular situation. Preventive action, that you need to follow, you need to take a certain step wherein others also can benefit. Okay? So this is called as preventive action. Corrective action and preventive action. You can see in other places also. Finally, it is happened before and in other places. In order to stop the reoccurrence, where it happened or other places and other places also.
Sir, it is not written in there.
No, that is only the workbook, like what do you call everything, whatever is in the textbook. I am trying to explain it. That is workbook. How to write the exam, how to attend the questions. Regarding that, it is there provided.
So, means, you can say that this is textbook.
This is a supplement, we can say. Supplement for your for the sake of the exam. Did you They didn't give you? They didn't give you? How to write the exam? How to answer? You will not have a direct answer in this. You will have how to write the answers in this.
Yeah, sir, if we get the question like safety management system, element health and safety, we will write policy organization and these things we will write knowing
And trying to explain you. Right? You can write your own words also with the settings.
Yeah.
Follow me? This book is for the supplement, how to write the answers in the exam. And I am doing explanation. You should understand, you should write it down.
No.
This is only a supplement. Your textbook is the main thing.
Guestbook.
You need to understand, you need to reproduce in your own words in the exam. See, it is very easy for us to give the direct answers, question, answer, question, answer, question, answer. But the NEBOSH, if you write the same answers, NEBOSH will consider it as malpractice. That's the reason we are not giving you the direct answers. You need to understand, you need to reproduce it. In your own words. Yes, in your own words. That is the reason why NEBOSH is so valued till now. If you write the same answers, it is considered. So, for that reason, you need to understand, you need to write it.
So they will not pass if we write the
Same answers like what? They can. But all writing the same answers, again there is a question.
We are setting 10 candidates. Same answer is equal.
That is problem. Yes. Not 10 people. You will have the seating arrangement. The people who are sitting side by side, if they too have got the same answer, again the result will be different. We need to set the seating plan also. How you sit, that also we need to set.
Sir, when exam are you going?
Date you have confirmed?
6th of March.
February
30th.
February 13th. Right. Not yet confirmed?
February 13th.
But before she does January 13th. No,
January 30th.
30.
Yeah, earlier it was, they told that, but NIBOD did not approve that date. We have to request for NIBOD for the date. They didn't approve, so it has been postponed.
And I will do when exam.
Once this is finished, you write the exam, again ICT will be started. Classes will be started.
And exam.
Exam will be after 4-5 days.
This was the 6 March.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. 6 months. Why? Because this, to finish this, ICT one, it will take January. Complete January. In February, if you consider in February you will have ICT 2. In March you will have
1 week gap.
1 week gap or immediate next week also you may have, depending on the approval of the NIBOD, the date. The date has to be approved.
If I did this paragraph, and I remember I will have to do same thing.
You see properly, why? Because in this book, some students have written like this, they did not get mark. This sentence is also there. If you write the same sentence in the exam, what will happen?
It means somebody else.
It is there. This is this is a report, examiner's report. It is called as the examiner report. In this, many things are included. Many candidates have got good marks because of writing this answer. It is included. One of the lines is included in this. If you write the same line there also in the exam, you will easily understand that it is not other quantities. So be careful. Okay? That's the reason you need to understand, you need to reproduce it. You need break? We'll take a break. We'll take a break of 5 to 10 minutes, then we'll continue. Thank you.